if you want to capture a space, if you want to have a recruiting channel or sales, but you have to have a really robust videography team, social media team.
And my brother, he was out selling no soliciting signs. Bought them for $1.50.
Yeah.
Went out, and how we're solving this problem, and he whips out a no soliciting sign. We just put this right here on your door.
One of our favorite guys was a guy that literally just worked at a car wash. We called him like Car Wash Gary, and Ricky came out. He was one of the top guys, and it's like he just got recruited at a car wash, man. Like, so it's crazy. Anybody can do this.
What is up, boys? You guys are fucking on. Let's go. We got Johnny Graham and Will Ellermets on the same podcast. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you guys being on here. You guys know Josh King?
What's going on, crew? How we doing? Oh, Will, you muted there?
Let's get him unmuted.
Well, mute.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Now, he was miming. He was just like.
I love the half face. That's all we need to see from Will, right?
That's all we get.
No, you're good.
Nope.
Now you're sideways.
Is that better now?
Yep.
Now we're like sideways.
Johnny was late and Will's sideways. No one could be perfect.
We're good.
We're good. How we doing, crew?
Good. How you guys doing?
Always good. Siempre bien. Joe, introduce the crew. What's going on? How we doing here?
Welcome, everybody, to the Solar Pulse podcast. I am Joe Moose, and we got Josh King. And on this episode, we are talking about our YouTube all-stars, social media all-stars in the solar industry. We got none other than Mr. Johnny Graham with Real Sales Dynamics. Freaking amazing on YouTube. I love his stuff. And we got the one and only Will Ellermets, Snapper Academy, crushing it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And these guys are huge fans. I'm so glad I got these guys on this podcast. Appreciate you guys.
Happy to be here.
So happy to be here. Miss you guys. Good to see you.
Have you guys, I know both you guys were speakers at SolarCon this past year, but have Will and Johnny, have you guys ever collaborated with each other, hung out, talked to each other?
Yeah, so I got to meet Johnny and Jake at the Solar Center Closer Tour when we were in California, and it was kind of like meeting a celebrity, so it was pretty surreal. And then, we got to hang out at SolarCon, DoorCon, and then I recently did a podcast as well with the Wolf of Solar. So that was pretty cool, too, and that should be wrapping hopefully soon. Yep.
Hell yeah. You got Carlos as your partner, right, Johnny?
Yeah, he's great. Yep. So it was funny meeting you there, man. I felt the same way with meeting you guys. So it was pretty fun. It's a great time to be able to. That's why I love like SolarCon. These events are awesome. It's a great opportunity to be able to meet people because we're so spread out in this job. You know, we're covering so much territory. The United States is a big place. Lots of people that are in this industry, and so it's so good for all of us to be able to come together. It's like getting around all the great people, learning so much. I always learn so much from everybody that I meet out there. So SolarCon was off the chain next last year. I'm excited to go again.
Speaking of meeting people, we want to have the audience get to meet you guys, just in case there's a couple of people who are under a rock, don't know who you guys are. We want to get them to know you a little bit. So we're doing a little segment called 5 Words or Less. What do you guys think?
Before we do that, Joe, are you pulling an Ariana Grande with those sleeves?
Yeah, baby.
What's going on?
It's the middle of the winter.
Are those hands?
I got styling, baby.
Okay, it's like a runner's jacket.
You got the gloves.
You ever seen those TikToks?
I'm comfortable.
Ariana Grande making soup with sleeves in the soup.
It looks great.
Hey, I'm comfortable, baby.
Love it. Nice. Let's do it. 5 words or less. Do you want to take it, or should I start it off? Oh, wait, we have to do the graphic, right? 5 words or less. That probably looks really weird for Will and Johnny, but when you guys see the edit, you'll understand. All right, let's do it. 5 words or less. So yeah, we try to do this to instead of just going tell us a bit about yourself, we try to dive in a bit more, get some deeper and sometimes funny responses so everyone knows who we're talking to, and then we can jump into some fun stuff. I think we have some really interesting topics today. I've checked out both your guys' channels, social media, love it. Would love to jump into how everything's working for you, what you guys are seeing on the back end. But first off, let's go back and forth here. I'll do the first question, Joe. You do the second one. What do you think? 5 words or less.
Before
So
we
the
start,
rules here-
I love that Will is already getting ready. I can see his fingers. He's counted. He's thinking about answers. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
He understands the game too. So the rule is technically you're only allowed to use 5 words to answer these. Right now, you've seen past episodes. Some people start preaching a novel, but you got to stick under 5 words. The first one is just really random, and you can pretty much use it however you want. 5 words or less describe your personality. Let's go, Johnny, first.
Cool. Curious, excited, ambitious, grateful. Curious.
Too
There we go.
curious. It's all
Curious.
right.
I said curious twice. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm always trying.
That's
to learn.
how important it is.
I love it. Yeah, I'm grateful. Grateful to learn.
Love it. Will, you're up. 5 words or less. Describe your personality.
Yeah, my personality, success driven, extremely competitive, and I'll have that last word that Johnny had too, which was grateful.
Nice one. Love it.
A
Joe, you
couple
wanna take the next
extremes
one?
in there. All right, here we go, guys. 5 words or less. If you weren't in solar, what would you be doing? 5 words or less. Johnny.
I love that. Wasn't so. I'd have to be in the military. I like being able to move. You know, like that's one of the best parts about solar. If nobody gets, is that you get to move around a lot. You get to be. I hate being at my desk for too long. I love being out and talking to people, being out on the hunt. So I'd have to do something like that, something conflict oriented, or I'd be maybe even being a fighter. Yeah, I'd have to be like a professional fighter. Something. I have to do something that would make me uncomfortable every day.
Damn.
that.
All right, you're a hunter. That makes a lot of sense.
It'd be fun.
It did go more than 5 words, but I'm not hating. It's all good. That was a great answer. All right, Will.
I don't know if I had to explain what the job title was in 5 words, or if I had to. You know.
You're good. We're having fun with it, baby.
Cool.
All right, Will. If you weren't in solar,
All right,
what
Jim.
would you be doing?
If I was not in solar, I would be hosting events, promoting mental health.
Ooh, those are good ones.
Love that.
Interesting.
That's how the Snapper Academy was born, wasn't it?
That's right.
Hell yeah, baby.
Beauty.
All right.
Numero tres. To Johnny, 5 words or less. Who's your biggest solar influence?
Ooh.
Biggest influence. I would have to actually list a series of companies because they're awesome. Like there are some incredible companies out there. You know, I would say one of my biggest solar influences and a leader that I really appreciate a ton is Max Britton. I worked with him years ago, and he was somebody that I got a lot of influence and learned a ton from. And then obviously the Wolf of Solar. You know, I love working with him. He's amazing. Great partner. So
Hell yeah.
Love it. Will, your biggest solar influences?
I want to
In
hear
5
this
words.
You know, we're trying to keep it at 5 words, but
Biggest solar influencer is John Frampton.
one. Huge. Big
Love
one.
it.
Great one.
stop. You're up,
All
Joe.
right. So, you know, Johnny's been going first every time. So, Will, got to go first on this one. You ready?
Like that. Dude, all right, fine.
All right, here we go. Big question. Billy Gaines, why are you in solar?
Oh,
First-
you-
Program, compensation plan. With a
Personal
compensation plan
development
attached to it.
program with a compensation plan. So you're helping and making money. That's we feel good, right? Hell yeah.
Yep.
Johnny, why are you in solar?
the only guilt-free sale.
Hell yeah. You can feel
Solar is
good. and
very
make money.
interesting. Super interesting. It's one of those rare products where you can use really high level sales strategies. And if you come from another industry where you're not really sure, should I be selling this to this person? Should I not? And then you find solar. This is what happened with me. It's like, holy shit, I can use really strong sales strategies and dive into the psychology of the customer and, you know, assumptive close, But at the end of the day, as long as I'm designing system and pricing properly, they're going to benefit from it. It's very rare to find something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
I'm
Good stuff.
stealing that one from you.
Mm.
That's mine now. That's why I always say, whenever I'm
Right.
pitching solar, it's like one of the only products that helps everybody: the company, the family, the employees, the government, everybody except for the utility.
The environment, I think, or something.
Their environment even gets helped out, except for the utility. But they've been winning for a long time, right? It's time for some new winners.
It's true.
Yeah,
All right, John.
we're just putting them through a bit of hardship, right? That's what we like, for them to grow. Last question before we
Here we
jump into
go.
some interesting topics here. Keep this as broad as you want or as specific as you want. Who is up first? Will, up first. Ultimate career goal.
World-renowned global motivational speaker.
Woo! I can see that, baby. I definitely see that in the future.
Mhm.
I love that
Johnny,
answer.
ultimate career goal.
Ultimate career goal. I want to die working. I love it. Charlie Munger just passed away, 99 years old, reigning champion, had an impact even on his day out. You retire, you expire. So I just never want to retire. Just want to keep going.
It's so strange to me when people talk about retirement. It's like, I don't understand. What do you mean? I enjoy working. What do you mean? Like, oh, are you looking forward to retirement? That doesn't mesh with me. I think it's a different mindset on work and, putting effort into something. So I agree 100%. You can never stop working. Love it. Good stuff. Are we happy with those answers, Joe? You want to expand on any more? Or do we have a basic understanding of everyone in the room now?
I wanted to expand on one thing because these guys have some amazing programs they're working with. So Real Sales Dynamics is the content portion, right? And then Snapper Academy is the content portion. Then you guys are working with dealers, you're working with installers. So how do you guys balance that where you're making that content and then you're trying to make sure you're also making the money off of that with the installs or with your dealer partners? I'll go with Johnny on this one, buddy.
Me first? Okay. So it's been a massive transition as far as this is what we did. We basically set up two separate companies. We have Real Sales Dynamics running there, and we finance it out of our own pockets. Obviously, YouTube doesn't pay anything because we're big, but we're big in a niche industry, right? And so it's like that's what it is. It's not like there's no Mr. Beasts on this call, right? These are the people that follow us are very much involved with that community. So we've had to have amazing videographers we spend a lot of money with, and we make sure that they're dedicated just to our projects. We usually have them already have formative years in knocking doors, so that way they understand what the audience needs to understand is a big thing. And then we knew that if we could make it a really solid production quality, not try to necessarily turn around and sell a course right there on the spot, that was just kind of our strategy, that it would relieve our efforts on the recruiting front of having to just sit in mindless, endless interviews, either via Indeed or going to college campuses and tapping on shoulders. So where most solar companies really struggle is on the getting their initial 50 reps, 60 reps and growing from there. That's the hardest part. Once you're from there and you have good scalable systems in place, then you can continue to grow. But it has to be done in chunks, and you have to have people that are dedicated to building out systems. And so your HR department on the solar side gets reduced because you've spent so much time in the video production and asking yourself, what does our audience want to see? What can we help them with? What value can we provide? Because I would assume that Billy feels this the same effect, but there's a lot of reps who get very poor training from their management. Their managers are guys sometimes that are from unrelated industries that are just coming in saying they heard somebody said they're going to make a quick buck, but they want to start their own company because they can't work for anybody. They've never done the sales side of this. Like they've never understood it from the ground up like Billy has. If you've been a sales rep for a long time, you've been a district manager for a long time, and you've helped grow teams and you understand it organically, you'll recognize that recruiting is one of the hardest elements of this job, and finding good, awesome talent and not having to play this game of poaching people from other companies. That was the one thing we didn't like so much about the industry was we're just like, you know what? I think solar was one of the best kept secrets ever. And I felt like the rest of the world has no idea what's going to be happening. And this all started 2 years ago. When you guys remember 2 years ago, when there was all that funny money in the economy, there was the low interest rates, everybody was a crypto expert. And I remember seeing sales reps dropping out of solar sales because they wanted to go and chase cryptocurrencies, and they were getting distracted with all this, right? And they couldn't explain it to me or how any of it like made any sense to me. And so I was just like, I'm just going to stay focused on this, because I know that once the interest rates go back up here in 2 years, we had it written on our whiteboard, in 2 years, the market's going to crash. We need to take as much market space as we can as far as the airwaves go. We need to get the message out as much as possible about where solar is. Because as Billy knows too, there wasn't a lot, 3 years ago on like out there for solar, and YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. So if somebody wants to learn how to do something, they'll go to YouTube, especially males, right? Predominantly. And so if you have a bunch of interest rates that spike back up, and we measured this out 3 years ago, we said if interest rates climb back up, which they're going to, all the refinancing is going to be over, meaning all the mortgage brokers are going to get hosed, meaning they're going to be done. And then what their number one skill is closing deals and talking to people and on long-term contract bases, which is similar, right? Who else is going to get hosed? Everybody that's in the crypto game, they're going to get hosed, most likely. I mean, there'll be some people that make it out, right? Awesome, good power to them. I'm not saying anything for or against it. But there's a lot of things that we knew the economy was going to do a wallop on. And then people were going to start searching, hey, how do I make money? People were going to start losing their jobs. And sure as the day is long, it happened that way. We got lucky with the timing on it. And that's relieved our hiring element. So that's the easiest way to summarize that entire thing. Less HR
real
work,
quick,
production work.
Real quick, Johnny, like, so when did you actually start making the content, and when did it actually start helping you recruit?
Great question. So Carlos and I left being managers at other companies, and we didn't try to like poach a bunch of our old reps. That wasn't our move. We were just going to do a moonwalk out, do our own thing. And so it was about 2 years. So we've had it a little over 2 years now, the channel. The first year, it was really slow as normal. And then the second year, we like went from like 4,000 subscribers. I think we're just shy of 23 right now, or maybe we're just over, I don't know. We're somewhere in that range. And so it took a year worth of just banging our heads against the walls, like, and then bootstrapping, really, you know what I mean? Because we were paying for all of the production and and we weren't making hardly anything on YouTube from it. So it took a while, but when it finally started to take off and we started to understand what our audiences wanted, and we like what they were really valuing, was just as much free training as we could give them, you know?
I love that.
Game in solar.
Go ahead, Josh.
The recruiting game in solar has changed so much. Like back in the day, how we recruited at scale was I would do 2 group sessions of 50 people a day every single day of the week, just to get enough people to meet the churn and burn. But even back then, solar was so small that if you got someone that came in with a resume and they had already worked for another solar company, there was, I don't know how it was in the US, but in Australia, we had this unwritten rule that if you saw your buddy's solar company on someone's resume that they'd worked for, you'd call him and say, hey, I have this John guy, applying. Does he still work for you, or what's going on? And he'd say, oh, no, what the hell is he doing? Or they'd say, oh, yeah, no, man, you can take him. So there was like an unwritten rule. Then it moved into poaching because solar started scaling up so quick and you just wanted everybody. But now, if you know what you're doing and you're worth to, invest in some time and money and don't expect immediate return, you have social media. And if you're doing things properly, you have this crazy source of recruitment. And it's like, yeah, if you're poaching, that's just so lazy in terms of recruitment now. You're not willing to put content out there or add value when you get millions and millions of people watching. The last thing, though, it was funny you said at the very beginning there that because you're in a niche space. I think our most viewed video, I think we have 10,000 views, right? And then I'll say that because I'm excited about that because that's solar views. But then someone will be like, oh, 10,000, that's not that much. I'm like, no, 10,000 in solar is actually pretty good. But it's such a niche little space, right? But yeah, recruiting has taken a completely different shift. And if people are poaching these days, it's lazy.
The one downside you don't expect that you do run into, though, more often is, and it's a downside and an upside. I think one of the downsides to poaching, as all of you guys have seen, is one, you're taking somebody that if you just are playing this game of who can give the best price and and all this stuff, if it has no real substance other than it becomes a bidding war, then the person you get is going to be very mercenary in their approach, right? They're going to be there, and then as soon as things aren't exactly as they want, or somebody comes in with a lower price, and now you're just playing this game, and it just sucks. So we were just like, we'll just give value to people in advance. Most people that apply at our company have already watched 5 or 6 videos, but a lot of them are outside the industry. So that requires a whole ground up training process. And so but we're hiring fans. And so that's been the thing. We're hiring people that are already fans and they know what is the job entails. They're not just coming off of some Craigslist ad. You know what I mean?
the second someone says anything about a red line within the first time you meeting them or talking to them, it's like complete red flag. Like, what are you doing? Go there. You want $1.50 red line? Go over there. See how that works for you. If they don't already know that, massive red flag. You know, I feel as though more people are willing to, like, they want solid support and resources and systems now, but I could be wrong. You know, maybe that's just because the type of people we're attracting, but I feel it's gotten better. Whereas a year or two ago, it was wild, the red line chasing. Absolutely wild.
Yeah. Billy, what's your thoughts
then-
on this, man?
And then Will just came straight in.
I'm
Go
just
ahead, Will.
No, we just need to make a T-shirt that says "Red Line Chasers equals red flags" or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But no, it's a great question. You know,
Nice drop.
about with the installer and then the training platform, because like we're Snapper Academy, we're installing with Nevo, and so our biggest thing is just like that training. When I first came into the industry, I really struggled my first 2 or 3 months, and it wasn't until I finally got in with the right group that had the training in place that I was able to go out there and have a $50,000 week and literally an $80,000 next week, and like literally made $130,000 my first 2 weeks once I finally got plugged into the right system. And so then it's like, we documented that entire journey, and so now it's like people can watch our journey from when we started 2 years ago, very similar to Johnny, right? Like our when we first started, it was December 1, 2021. Doing this for like 2 years and like a week, and
Wow.
the YouTube just hit 1 million a week on Instagram. I think we've had like 4 or 5 videos now hit like 100,000 views, and it's like, yeah, these people are reaching out and they want to work, and then it's like, but we can provide that training for them to show them that it's possible and just give them the word tracks. The biggest thing is just mindset. We know that solar's the right option, but it's like we got to train on mindset. And so that's what we focus on 95% of the time, because we know solar is the right option for people's power. And so we just spend a tremendous amount of time on just teaching guys how to have the right routine. And we just believe that before you can make gains financially, you must first make gains physically, with your mental health, with your spiritual health, with your emotional health. And it's just that physical, mental business, having those pillars. And so I think that's a huge thing, is to be able to have guys plug into a system where like we can train them effectively and teach them that like this is not a 9-to-5 job, it's a lifestyle, and you got to go all in, and you got to have crazy work ethic to be able to have crazy results. But the whole thing's a game. We gamify it and we have a ton of fun, and then just showing guys like, hey, this is absolutely possible, and they can see that through the YouTube. So the YouTube's been a huge thing for us with just helping with training the guys to help them out with getting success, their first week. Because the thing is, like, not a lot of people have that grit and that resilience that I have, that Johnny has. And so it's like, we want to just show guys like, hey, you might not have success the first month, second month, but if you stick with it, you can literally make $50,000 in a week. You can make over $100,000 in a month. And that's where it's like we say, to make true solar money, you really have to put in the work. And when we say true solar money, it's 30, 40, 50,000, $100,000 a month. I see people making $200,000 a month. And I know I'm throwing out some crazy numbers there, but it's like my barometer is so high now because we've been able to go out there and meet people like Joe and Jake and Josh and Johnny, and to be able to see what's possible out there. And we wouldn't be able to do that without social media.
There's also another aspect to having like a binge-worthy, sorry, Joe, a binge-worthy channel, right? So if someone, I think like you said, Johnny, someone watches like 5, 6, 7 videos, that type of person that's coming to you for any, whether it's recruiting for a job, for a product, when they're able to go through your YouTube channel and they start to know you and the team, and like they see consistency in your messaging, I feel like that attracts a certain type of person, and they're much more willing versus like a cold outreach or cold recruiting ad, right? Because they know a bit more about you. They see the results. They see people doing stuff. They see that your message is parallel and consistent through over time. And so they have a bit more trust with you as well. Interesting little, aspect to the recruiting or anything when it comes to building a brand.
There's Josh, just like having that really important. That's where we talk about social media. That's our brand. And so when people go to a page and it's like they got 5 posts versus like 500 posts, it's a completely different narrative, So
yeah, for sure.
I mean,
sorry, Joe, cut you off.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, you guys have different, even though you're similar in a lot of ways, you guys have different styles, right? You're different personalities, different, charisma. And, Billy Gaines out there, join the greatest sales force on earth, and you're just pitching like, recruit, come to me. I don't care. Just come join us. And Johnny's more like, hey, here's some cool content. Here's some training. Here's some things to look for. Here's some objections to handle. So there's definitely similarities, but definitely different too. So like Willie, Do you go by different nicknames? First of all, is it Willie, Bill, Billy? What do you like the best?
Dude, my friends call me Will. You know, my mom calls me William, and everybody on YouTube calls me Red Snapper. So you call me Will, yeah.
Your team calls
Red
you Red
Snapper
Snapper too.
I heard.
Yeah.
What are all these names?
You guys just wait till after Solar, all right? I got another nickname on the way.
Okay.
Damn, let's go. So I definitely lost my question though out there. If you want to go with the next one, Josh.
Yeah, I think it was just with brands and different approaches. Well, I'm interested in. So was it? I think it's Johnny's channel, or maybe both. I think it's Johnny's channel. I'm noticing that you guys have a lot of different people on your channel. I don't. Well, if it's the same with you, but it's not just you. You're not the face. There's not one face. It's multiple different people closing deals, knocking doors. Do you find, because that's really interesting, right? It's like that's a community channel. It's like a platform that a lot of people are adding value to. I see that as a super interesting way to do it. At VSC, I'm the face, right? We barely have any others, and there's some downsides to that. One is the man hours, right? If you're the only one that has to create content, it's a ton of work. If you have a platform and you have a few guys knocking content back and forth, first off, there's more people involved. They feel like they have a piece of it, right? They feel they're a part of something. You can get so much more out there. But personal brands are also very valuable, right? Look at my stuff. My face is everywhere, right? People, know my name or VSC, the same thing. Do you see that? Like, what are the pros and cons of having like that community channel of lots of guys on there versus one face, one brand that people know, especially for recruiting or or selling a product, even if you're doing it for like solar sales or something?
Billy, I'll let you go first.
That's a good question.
Snapper.
I think it's like it's changed a little bit. When we first started, I was never actually on the YouTube. If you go back and you look at the very beginning, and it's because we were brand new and I was just in home all the time closing deals. And so, our video got going, they would follow the new setters around. And then it got to the point where, because we had, a couple hundred guys, and it was like we started, I went back to setting, so it was like I was then the regional that was setting. And so then you saw me on there. But what we found is that it's like you don't want to have it be just you. Reason being is because like you want to have other people having success too. And so I think you're absolutely right, Josh. It's like having that community showing like, hey, we've got freaking, Jose, he's killing it. You've got Lamar, he's crushing it. You've got Johnny, he's crushing it. And so showing all the different personality types to be like, dude, literally anybody can do this because we've got every single type of person doing this. And it is the truth, like anybody can do it. And then the biggest thing is that too, we do a lot of like the collaboration posts. And so with your personal brand, you were mentioning that too, Josh. It's like you don't want to just have everything on your page just be like business, 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 because it's like they can go to the business page for that. So that's one thing I love about Johnny. It's like if you follow his page, they're doing Muay Thai, Jake's doing backflips, like they're doing crazy things, right? They're not just literally knocking doors, they're showing style. And so I think that's really important. Like I like to show 60-second sales tips. I like to talk about, my nonprofit. I like to talk about different real estate things. And so I think it's good to have your business, but then to also show like what's going on behind the scenes. And that's the power of building your personal brand, to show people like they can come along the journey with you. And so that's like been really interesting as we've amassed, between the 2 or 3 different platforms, like almost 20,000 followers over the last 2 years. And it's like people like literally feel like they know you just because they've watched so much content. And so for me, and I'm sure Johnny feels the same way, because like, dude, we're just 2 normal freaking guys that just started this 2 years ago. And so for anybody watching this, like you go hard the next 2 years. Like guys, I go to the airport and people will come up to me and like, oh my gosh, like I've been following you. Like, do you need a ride? Like I can give you a ride wherever you're going, dude. And it's absolutely crazy. But I enjoy it. It's really cool just to have that impact. That impact is the biggest thing. Like, I really enjoy the thought of like, wow, we're putting content out there for free and it's changing people's lives. And that is purpose. That is a really good feeling.
Seeing behind the scenes is so cool. I think that's what I'm lacking a lot of. In case you guys don't know, I'm on the remote side, but specifically like the travel. Like I'm in Mexico right now. I love traveling. There's so much content there, but I'm really bad at that because I'm always obsessed with the actual work and the front end of it. But yeah, seeing like the rise, the back end, doing Muay Thai and random stuff, and like, oh, these guys are normal people, and you can follow them along. Would you agree with me that like this is, if you're not doing this type of whatever it is, recruiting or just documenting pretty much what's going on. If you're not doing that through social media now, you're pretty much falling behind. This is the new way of recruiting and building teams and building companies, right? Would you agree? It's like a mandatory feature.
It's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be revealing and wreck you, or it'll be something that you can do. There's just a lot of people that are just putting out like not thoughtful things. Like it's like they're not doing great at that. Like we finance and we spend a ridiculous amount of money every month on Real Sales Dynamics, making sure that we get really high quality editing, really funny cutaways. We try to make it entertaining while also bringing value. And we spend time brainstorming what our videos are going to be in advance. We spend time looking at what is doing well, what we think is missing. And then we spend a large amount of brain power for that, because we want it to, if you don't make it valuable and entertaining, then you just try to avoid doing it. Like if you're new to the business and you don't have something actual breaking down content to do, I mean, maybe it's best to document it for yourself. That's fine. But if you are new to the game, I'd say learn it first and then really ask yourself, how much am I spending time learning? Like what do I learn every single day? What are things that I think are value to the market? Because I run a training for my team. I run 2 trainings a week. Well, sorry, 2 trainings a day with 5 days a week with my team. So we talk every single day for Monday through Friday, going over topics of what's happened before. So I think if you're not investing and learning in yourself regularly, like learning on your own, going out and knocking regularly, closing deals, studying the industry, just have something to say of value and think about what are the questions that everybody else is asking right now. If you can be a person that's answering questions in a time of also obscurity when things are weird, like when NEM 3.0 was on its way for California, people that had the information on that dug in and figured it out had a voice in this space for a while, which was great. They brought calm to chaos. And so I think you can definitely make a ridiculous living and not have any social media in this industry. I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. You know what I mean? Like, not to dissuade anybody from jumping into social media, but I know a lot of guys that spend way too much time on their social media and not nearly enough time selling. I'm like, dude, like that's the truth. Like this is a limited opportunity. You already have the training. Unless you're going to bring something of true value, like maybe just find a way to get you and a couple of your boys with some closers and some setters and just be a guerrilla team and go out there and throw in a ton of deals. I know guys that are out that are making so much more money than some people that are like influencers. Like it's crazy. Like I know some guys that are totally silent assassins stacking up huge amounts of money. Nobody knows who they are outside of their team. You know what I mean? And nothing wrong with that. That's sick. I think it's equally cool.
Hell yeah.
Build off of what Johnny just said right now. If you guys haven't read the book yet, it's $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy. And he talks about the way to get leads. If you guys haven't read it, like you got to read it. But like Johnny, you hit it on the head. You can be a silent assassin. Nobody even knows what you do. And you do that from cold outreach. You do that from like just reaching out to people without them reaching out to even doing ads, whether that's paid ads or content, which is free advertisement, right? And so it's like the cool thing about that, and like obviously we try to do all of it, obviously, right? But it's like when you do that, the cool thing is that people won't know about what you're doing, and you can just do it. Nobody's going to try to like copy you, but it's like I don't know, like I just enjoy this, and the reason why we're doing content besides wanting to be successful in solar is because we want to be a part of the wave after solar, which is going to still be in door-to-door, and it's going to be selling a different product after solar wave is over 5-10 years from now. And hey, hopefully we can partner up with freaking Real Sales Dynamics 5 years from now. We can create the freaking biggest next company that we're going to build together. So that's kind of my mindset there. But yeah, like there's different ways you can do it, and definitely would recommend that book, $100 Million Leads by Alex Hormozy, because Alex Hormozy is a GOAT. And if you guys haven't been studying him, I definitely recommend him. He's an absolute legend.
Yeah, he is.
Speaking of that content machine, right? Like you guys, I think are on another level to us, but even I have multiple video editors. We have processes. We have a video comes in. We need this amount of clips. We're throwing on YouTube here, TikTok here, specific formats. We have SOPs up the wazoo for our content creation, but people don't see that, right? What have you guys found? What does your content, I like calling the content machine, look like? Johnny, you're saying you invest a bunch of cash in it. What does that machine look like for you? How much energy have you put into creating those processes to get the content that you're getting out right now?
Well, we've been extremely fortunate in the people that we've been able to hire. We have just, I got to say, I have to give so much credit to all of them because they just do an incredible job. Like I have people that work really hard. They're very detail oriented, people that take pride in their work. And then we pay them, we pay them heavy, like around 6 figures a year. Like sometimes where a lot of them are keeping them minimum, like it's like per per person that's working full-time minimum. And it's not because we're worried about losing them. It's because we want all of their attention on this. It's really difficult right now to continuously get good at videography right now if you're trying to learn it, especially if you're like still in like, I'd say, we hired some people that were mid-range to high skill that were really trying to boost their skills. And now they spend an obsessive amount of time and they've come so far in their capacity and their knowledge. And so having really great people is just, I think, the biggest element of it, and then paying them very well, and then making sure that you're working really hard at what you do best, which is knocking doors, getting deals closed, bringing in great people, training really great people once they're in your system, and then being able to scale that. We're now in several places. We're in Dallas, we're in Houston, we're in LA, we're in San Diego, we're in Tampa, we're in Miami, and we're just going to keep expanding through having really good systems in place, and then hiring videographers to go out to those territories. They shoot a bunch of content as well. Then we have a hub where it all gets sent back to, and we go through and we edit it all in one location for each individual coast. So like Florida has its own squad that handles that. California has its own squad. Footage comes in from other markets into our California market where we edit it all down, make sure it matches, and then get it scheduled out correctly. And so that's really the focus. And then, like you've been mentioned earlier, there's a huge benefit to having your highest performers getting on camera often, and then your performers that are interested in getting on camera. We do a lot of shorts with those guys too, just so that they start to get the muscle for it. Because as William knows, like there's a muscle for it. Some people are good on camera. I know guys that are amazing on the doors, just phenomenal on the doors. But then as soon as we put a camera on them, they're like, huh? And so it's like a matter of just like deer in the headlights. It's a matter of making sure that they get used to that. And most importantly, I want them to see their own style. I want them to be able to watch it too. I mean, William, you made a great point. I mean, like, you want to appeal to as many people as possible. Say, hey, you don't have to look this way, be this certain person to be involved, because this industry is mostly founded by guys from Utah that were on their mission and then came into the business. And I was one of those guys from Utah. I was very fortunate, very young. I got into the industry, but guys that are from the Midwest, I know a lot of guys from the Midwest that didn't know much about really high-end door-to-door. And the teams out of Utah really shaped this industry in really impressive ways. And so I think it allows people to come from any profession or background and say, wow, this is like, if you have the right tools, right company, right leadership, it's an amazing, highly professional job. It's difficult. I find it to be a lot more interesting too than, and I'm not throwing shade on it, but like there's a lot of businesses that are a lot less interesting. Like I wouldn't want to be selling DirecTV, like no offense. Like, I just wouldn't want to be doing something like that. It's a good place to learn. It's a great place to cut your teeth on and learn a low transaction sale. But after you've had like a year or two in that, I would say it's good to learn how to do something as complicated as solar. It's complicated. It's complicated to scale.
And you're also teaching them, your guys, how to act on camera, which is a very, very valuable skill. And then one thing with the doors that has always been a challenge is live reviews, right? If you're on the phones, you got call recordings, but on your doors, it's difficult. So if you're actually recording that and they can watch back, one thing that we find a lot of, you guys remember before smartphones became a thing, you remember like the first time you ever heard yourself on video? You're like, shit, do I really sound like that? Now we have the ability to film everything, and you show your sales guys, and very often I'll see guys that hear themselves for the first time or see themselves on video for the first time, and they're like, why am I loud? Why is my back not straight? Why am I not pronouncing? And they didn't know. It was like a subconscious thing. But then they actually see them do this in front of a customer. They're like, fuck, okay, next time I'm going to back straight. And it just improves their sales ability. They didn't know they were doing anything bad, but now they have that review. So it's a valuable thing that you're giving them. And then, it's a nice little flywheel effect because now you're getting content as well for it. So I like it.
But
at the end of the day, it's like, look, it's one thing that we offer working there,
But at the end of the day, not everybody's going to be good on camera. I think it was Brad Lee said, like, somebody asked him, how do I make content? And he's like, just turn on the camera. Like, yeah, for him, that could be great. Turn on the camera. He's going to make fire content. But not everybody could just turn on the camera and it's going to be fire. So what do you do? Are you like, are you looking for the right people that are like charismatic and they're great on camera? Or are you training them saying, no, like, I know you don't have it yet, but here is the formula of how to become successful. Are you guys going through that training on the camera too? I'll go with Will.
Oh, that's a good question. I think that people kind of watch the content that we do, and so then when they're with us, they kind of already know what the program is, if that makes sense. And people meet me, and like, Joe, you met me in person, Johnny, you met me in person. It's like, this is it. Like, this is exactly how we are. We're not putting on a show. We're just literally turning on the camera like Bradley.
You're very authentic, yeah.
deal, you know, and like not everybody makes the cut, that's for sure. Not everybody has what it takes to be on camera, and sometimes people do get awkward and nervous, and sometimes people just don't like it. But it's like, dude, we're literally just documenting what we're doing. We're not really creating anything. We're just going out there and knocking doors and shooting sales tips and things. And so, but again, going back to your question too, Josh, about like the SOPs for content, like full transparency is like, I just literally found a unicorn that is a one-man machine that understands how social media and content creation works. And so it's like, I got lucky with finding this person that understands it, and his name's Matt Beeler, and he's my partner in everything we do. And so I got lucky. I think that a lot of people want to do content, but you got to find somebody that like really understands how content works. So,
yeah.
You're spending the big bucks too. I know you're spending a lot of money on that content. How do you decide where to invest and where to put the money and when to like stop putting money into certain things? Is that a hard decision making on that?
It's a good question. I mean, you got to pay for flights, you got to pay for hotels, you got to pay for equipment, you got to pay for people's time, you got to pay editors. But it's like my first blitz I came out there, I made 50 grand. The next week I spent $16,000 to get my next blitz documented, and it's like I made $85,000 on that blitz. And like with all of this stuff, it's like literally not saying any of this to impress anybody, but just to impress upon people that it is possible to do that. But it's like, yeah, dude, you got to invest. You got to put money back into the business. And I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on content, and I will continue to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on content because content is king. Just like cash is king. It's like eyeballs equals attention, and attention equals money. So it's like I would definitely recommend investing into that if that's something that you think is going to be worth it, and it's absolutely paid off tenfold.
I don't even think it's an option anymore. If you're like building a team or building a platform or a company, if you don't have a budget set aside for video editors, videographers, social media, like something's missing there, right? If someone came to me and said, Josh, I want to do this, I want to build a team, and they didn't have that budgeted, and they actually had aspirations of building a team more than 10, 20 people, I'd be like, where's the social media budget? Oh, I guess we'll film it here and there. No. You have to do this, man. Like this is. Maybe right now the people that are doing it, it's like, oh, that's cute, dude. In 2 or 3 years or less, it will not be. You see a lot of companies like traditional brick and mortar companies now. They have TikTok channels, really fun content. You go on TikTok and you see a company that makes bloody lamps or something, right? But their TikTok content is so cool, and they're showing the office. Oh, Duolingo. You guys see Duolingo on TikTok? I don't know if you guys follow that channel. Bloody amazing. They're an app. They're for training on how to speak other languages. But the content is crazy. It shows in the office, and you're like, shit. And now when you think of, oh, I need an app that I can learn French. Oh, I saw TikTok, Duolingo, right? So I feel like that's not even going to be even just now. It's not a question. If you want to capture a space, if you want to have a recruiting channel or sales, but you have to have a really robust videography team, social media team. Someone can binge watch your content, or you're just always getting put in front of people's faces. Yeah, I don't think it's an option anymore. I think it's a mandatory thing you got to plan for.
Well, speaking of amazing content, we have two of the greatest content creators out there on YouTube. So I want to drop some nuggets for the audience from these guys. So I know this is kind of a loaded question, but I want to go with Johnny. I really want to pick your brain on content. What is going viral? Like, what is something when you post it on YouTube, like you're going to get the views, you're going to get the hits, you're going to get the reactions, you're going to get the comments. I'm sure there's some kind of like, you don't have to give us the formula, but is there certain content you're making like, all right, this one's going to get some views?
Oh, 100%. Like I know there's a direct equation on them. Like you can see this in all of our views. The amount of thought and effort and timing that went into a video versus one that didn't have the same amount of effort. Because you could have all the cash in the world, like you're saying, you have to have a budget, whatever. But you really have to have a well thought out message. You really have to really have an idea that grabs people's attention and goes, actually, I want to learn this. This is wild. Like our no soliciting video is crushing it right now. It's one of our best.
What is that?
In a minute. Like I loved it. We had Jacob Graham, my brother. He was out selling no soliciting signs, door to door. Oh, shit. So he was selling no soliciting signs.
You're gonna end up in a Times article, bro.
Oh, it's killing it. It's killing it right now.
Well, was he selling the signs themselves?
Yeah, he bought them for $1.50.
Yeah.
Oh. Went out, went out and was knocking on the door and was just like, hey, this interaction is kind of awkward, right? Yeah. So how we're solving this problem, and he whips out a no soliciting sign. So we just put this right here on your door. He's like, right now, they're typically $20, but since we're already out here and there's no transmission fees, making a joke to like solar, there's no distribution transmission, it's going to be just $15. And he sold a few of them $15. And then right after that sale, he would transition into the solar pitch, and then ended up literally booking some appointments. He's closed those deals already. So it's been a really fun pitch to use. And so we're out selling no soliciting signs. And then once that sign's up on the door, some of those weaker reps who don't touch a brand new no soliciting sign are not likely to knock it later and poach your deal. So it's got the double effect there.
I love it. So good.
Here's the home plate, So, and really it doesn't even matter if he doesn't get the solar appointment. He still makes $15, or whatever. He's paid $1.50 for me. He's making $18. And so it's like anybody that's asking to say, hey, do you guys pay hourly? It's like, I'll give you a stack of no soliciting signs. You can make money hourly regardless if you sell solar. We'll move a few of these.
Hell yeah.
That's so that we just posted that one. You guys should check it out when you get a chance. It's great.
Definitely checking it out. How about you, Billy Gaines? How are you coming up with your content? What do you see going viral for yourself?
Yeah, it's funny because it's always and I'm sure Johnny can agree with this too. It's always the post that you're like, this is the one, dude. This is going to be it. And then it's like, it doesn't hit. And it's always the ones that you're like, no way that video just blew up. But I think that the content that goes viral is the one that can be relevant to other industries, not just solar, and can kind of like open up the window for them to learn about solar. And then obviously just the live door-to-door content. People love it. They love seeing us just live on the doors and just in action. And that's always been our best content.
Yeah.
How far do you go with that?
So I think Johnny said this. Sorry, Joe. Go for it.
Just real quick, how far do you go? I see your content, Will, and you kind of go into a little bit and then kind of stops. Is there a strategy to like, when do you stop the conversation? When do you let people in? And like, you know what I mean? Like there's a certain part I know you stop, but like, and then you want to like get people intrigued. How do you figure that part out?
Yep, that's a good question. So with like social media, we're just posting the videos that we think will be most valuable for everybody. If we were posting the whole thing, it's like, it would be so boring. But like we do have that available for everybody on the team to be able to watch like the full raw uncut from A to Z. But if we post everything, like, dude, I think we've got just dozens of terabytes of footage that we've shot over the last 2 years. And I'm sure Johnny's got hundreds of terabytes too. And it's like, we just want to post the content that's most valuable. People's attention span is so short. We just want to bring the best content possible. So,
hell yeah.
With Johnny, you mentioned this earlier about the percentage of people that is coming on board that have solar experience or no solar experience, and then Will, you just said people that are coming from other industries and creating content. So one of the hallmarks that I believe is a sign that an industry is about to boom. I got a list of about 1,000 of them for solar, but one of them is certainly that the tipping point of the percentage of people that are moving in and starting in the industry, the majority of them are coming from other industries. That to me shouts like, holy shit, it's about to boom. It's also very exciting because I know after 10 years doing this and the hundreds and thousands of reps I've trained or hired and saw the results, I have always known, I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but I know from my experience, the best performers are always the guys that don't have solar experience and they come from another industry, they're selling mortgage or they're working at McDonald's and they just got drive, they want to make cash, they want to have fun. That for me is the top performers that have come through. Obviously, there's great performers that come from solar as well. But so when we're in a time where we're seeing it as well, maybe 2 years ago, we keep track of, do you have solar experience or not statistics. And it was 60, 70% or even 80%. They'd already been in solar. Now we're seeing it's like 50-50, if not 60-40, if not 70-30, depending on the month, of people that have absolutely no solar experience. That's really exciting for me. Right? Because that's when solar becomes mainstream, because the solar community is so niche and close-knit. When you open it up and when people see content, like you're saying, well, that's not specifically, solar, it's maybe it's relative to auto insurance sales or pest control, and so they start flooding into the industry. You get a lot more volume, a lot more excitement, a lot more opportunity, and a lot more growth. Right? Are you guys now seeing that a hell of a lot more people from other industries coming into solar, or what's the rough split? Would you say?
For us, I would say it's probably somewhere like 70 or 80-20, 80% new, 20%,
Yeah.
20% existing. And like I said before too, I generally don't like hiring people from existing solar companies as often, unless I know them well, I have a great relationship with them. I can understand very clear circumstances as to why they want to. The question I'm asking every time I hire somebody from another solar company is, why would we want you specifically? Nothing against, like, if you have big numbers, then why did you leave? Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you just got, if it was like a poor management, I know the team, something very specific I'm okay with, but usually star performers that are leading other companies, they're generally doing it for some pretty big reasons, and I want to be able to find out what that is and realize that they also may have a very indebted culture style, like in their bones, that they're coming from, and a way of doing things that they oftentimes don't want to assimilate to culture as well. So in many ways, it's like hiring somebody brand new has a huge downside in many ways, because they know nothing and you have to teach them the whole way up. Maybe it's not for them. The upside is I don't have to train out any bad habits.
Yep.
You agree, Will?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys just said. It's like I've recruited and brought people in that were obviously brand new. And like Johnny just said, we were able to kind of mold them, and this is how you do it. And, no more bad habits. But we've also brought in people from other companies that were top producers and consistently closed 20 deals a month and were our top guys. But if you were to ask, like, hey, do you want somebody that's at a solar company or do you want somebody new? Like, all day long, I would prefer to have somebody that's for sure. But it depends for every single situation. But I think I just look at like blue collar workers. Like one of our favorite guys was a guy that literally just worked at a car wash. We called him like Car Wash Gary, and freaking he came out. I'm but dude, he was one of the top guys, and it's like he just got recruited at a car wash, man. Like, so it's crazy. Anybody can do this, it's serious. Like anybody can do this, and it's going to be interesting over the years as it gets regulated, and you got to get your license and everything like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the industry evolves. But right now, you can literally come in here, brand new, 18 years old, or you can be freaking Colonel Sanders, 70 years old, and you can still make $1 million selling solar. So anybody can do it. Just got to have hard work, grit, and resilience.
So
Will has
Will has Car Wash Gary. Johnny, who's your favorite that you've recruited from a different kind of job?
Some of my best recruits have been people that were customers first. So like for sure, like some of my customers, like I've got this guy on my team, Trent. He's awesome. He was a customer of mine first. He's been on our channel once before. And he was in the Marines, just finishing up his contract, had a nice house. We talked quite a bit. I stayed in touch with him throughout that period, but he was so excited about the project we did. He couldn't believe what a great deal it was. And I was just like, hey, what are you doing outside of this? Like once your contract's over. So like, it's kind of amazing how if you're selling a lot, you're also going to just meet great people that way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've plucked people out of the very strange industries and jobs making, $10 an hour. And then all of a sudden within the first month or two, they're making 5 figures. All of a sudden, they're 6 figures. Like what the hell? And it blows, I call it the starry-eyed moment. I'm sure you guys know what I'm saying. When you get someone and they had an understanding of like what was possible in terms of money, or even like sales strategy. And for the first time ever, they get the first 5-figure paycheck, and then, they get their first deal, or they handle their first objection, right? And then their eyes just go like, whoa. And then okay. Yeah, there it is. I've got him now. Right.
My favorite moment with that, Josh, was last summer, and we were at the very end of a blitz, and we had rented out this mansion. And what we did was we said, all right, guys, this blitz, you have to close 2 deals. That's it, all right? Like, you got to close 2 deals. Like, obviously, we're all shooting for 10, but at the end of the blitz, we've got this mansion rented out. It's this huge mansion, $1 million mansion, and everybody that gets 2 deals, you can go there. And if you don't, we've got this, like, Motel 6. So it's your guys' choice, but yeah, that was had like well over 100 deals in that blitz. But at the very end of the blitz, my friend looked at me and he goes, Will, he's like, I have $400,000 in my bank from solar the last 6 months since I started, and it was just unreal. Like what'd you call it, Josh? Like a
Starry-eyed moment.
yeah, that was my moment for that one. That was crazy.
That's good. I love that. Yeah, I remember specifically the first time this happened to me. It was just an objection handle. I was training this new kid, and I was doing confirmation or checking voicemails in the office in the morning or something. We get this voicemail, and then cancellations and whatever. And we get a call in, and this lady wants to cancel her appointment. Boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, how about this? Boom, boom. And she end up with the call with, okay, that sounds good, I guess. Yeah, send him by. I'm like, oh, good. I'm just doing my job. But the kid that I was training beside me, he looks at me, he's like, holy, how'd you, sort of the Wolf of Wall Street scene, like, how the fuck did you do that? And then I saw in his eyes, he's like, all of a sudden, he's super excited because he just saw something he didn't know was possible, right? I remember
Josh, sorry, you keep going. I was just going to say, it's not Wolf of Wall Street, it's Wolf of Solar, bro. I'm just joking.
there's I always forget his name. He was a business partner of Jordan Belfort in Australia. And we worked with him in solar. I can't remember his name, but he was called in Australia. We called him Wolf Pup because he was friends with Wolf of Wall Street guy. But, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, Wolf Pup. Dave or something. Can't remember his name. Anyway, yeah, love the starry-eyed moment. You're making progress. You've got them right now. You have some commitment for them. They'll at least put in some real hard hours for you because they see something that wasn't possible. So
this,
I guess
real quick, this does sound all amazing, and the industry is amazing, obviously, and you guys see that starry-eyed moments for your guys. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. The industry morale is down a little this year, right? You're getting those stories out there, places going bankrupt, and there's the dealer fees, and all that stuff, right? Interest rates, NEM. How's the morale with your guys, and what are you seeing with your teams and the with your content and what you're getting with your social media? What are you guys getting? Is the same morale that you feeling, or is the guys seeing something different on your teams? Let's go with Will, baby.
Yeah, like super simple. If you want to have the same results that you had as last year, this year, and next year, it's super simple. You just got to work 3 times harder. That's it. If you're willing to put in 3 times as much work, you will have the same results as you had last year. And we call it Q4 separation season. And so right now it's like we're doing our best to separate ourselves from everybody else in the industry. Like we're on a blitz right now. We knock doors all day today. Like I'm at a hotel right now in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it's like, dude, like we're just doing the work, and that's it. So when everybody else January 1 is getting ready to go, we're going to be in motion and just getting ready for a huge year. But that would be my biggest like advice and encouragement is like you can still have the same results, but you do have to work 3 times harder because it is a different market now, as we all know. So
I love that. You're crazy, go ahead, Johnny.
Maybe I'm crazy. I don't feel any different. I feel like it's the same game, like same thing, no difference. I don't know, like everybody's just so gluing their eyes to the fishbowl all the time, wondering what's happening outside. They forgot to manage their own territory. It's like, this is fine. Like NEM 3.0, no difference to us. Still selling the same amount as we were before. We actually had an influx right before NEM, which was awesome. Gave us some huge bankroll because people were all trying to get it done. And now, guess what? We're still back to selling. Same things, no difference. It's like, I don't know what. I mean, I guess like we're the luckiest people right now in the entire country, because most of the country, they're getting job layoffs, and it should be our jobs as salespeople to go sell as much volume as possible so we can keep sales support staff employed, we can keep installers employed, we can keep all these people employed. I don't know why everybody's acting, well, the interest rates are high and the dealer fees are high. It's like, dude, so are the utilities. They've raised their rates too. Their costs have risen too. It's all the same. It's the same across the board. Well, inflation, it's like, yeah, and your effing like your commissions are inflated too. Like they're huge. Like you move with the industry. So I don't know what everybody's like freaking out about. It's like the only people that should be freaked out are people that are sitting around waiting for somebody else to make a sale for them, right? If you have a salary job and you're waiting for that, yeah, maybe you have to be nervous. If you worked in the funny money industry before and your company wasn't producing anything of value, dude, I like these types of moments because honestly, I was more irritated back 2 years ago when everybody thought they were a crypto investor and like they all thought they were geniuses and they all left the industry. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we told you so. Like we're so happy they're walloped. They have no skills now. They lost a lot of their money. It's 2 years later and they're a part of the big complain and panic crowd. And I don't know what's going on with that complain and panic crowd, because if you're in solar, you have an amazing advantage against everybody right now. You have people that are focused on trying to save their utility bills. Back when they were making tons of money, they didn't care about saving any utility bills. You got to cut your bill in half. You got to do all this ridiculousness. The utilities are raising their rates because they think their competition is down, and they have rising energy rates too with all the global conflicts taking place. And so it's like, people want more independence now than they ever want before. They've seen that the grid and the system in general can't be trusted. It's like they've seen it from COVID. They've seen it from Enron controlling power outages to manipulate stock. They've seen it with the wildfires in California. They're tired of having power outages. Like, I don't know what world everybody's like saying, like, we got to work. I mean, no offense to you, but like, I mean, I appreciate that sentiment, right? Like when interest rates get a little higher, yeah, you have to work a little harder. When credits start failing more, yeah, you got to go through more customers. That's the truth. When the economy's down, the only thing that really sucks is more people are failing credit, right? And you know why they're failing credit? Because they're not paying their bills. You know why they're not paying their bills? Because they had a salary job. And what happened to that salary job? That salary job, the people that were selling stopped selling. And once they stopped selling, what happened? You lost your job. You got bad credit. So I got to go through 2 times as many people to get a good credit score nowadays. That's about it, though. Everything else, I would say it's a bigger advantage. I'm going to get off the pedestal on this stuff. I'm going to get off myself.
100% agree.
If I could build off what Johnny just said too, we have a rep right now that literally moved across the country at the very beginning of this year, 2023, and he was 100% homeless when he moved across here. He had nothing. And if you look at his pay stubs, January, $0, February, $0, March, $5,000, April, $15,000, June, $30,000, July, $60,000, August, $80,000, September, right? Like $80,000. So while the rest of the industry is freaking out about interest rates, I'm not going to say the rep's name. We'll just call him Carlos. But it's like Carlos literally went from being absolutely broke and homeless to making like $280,000 this year. Woo! And so it's like,
same with my guy Andrew.
And make $300,000
down, $400,000 first year.
You know, so like it's all in your head. It's all in your head, 100%.
And the thing, I definitely lean towards Johnny's take here. There's a few different things. I think this is the catalyst that is going to start this boom, right? I still think it's hilarious that some people say solar is like reached the peak in the U.S. It's crazy. I don't understand how they say. But I think this is actually the catalyst. This is going to set us up for an insane scenario. And people always forget that solar, the product at its core, is a product that is most valuable when shit's going to hell. Right? It goes in to replace things. It's an innovator. So when you have things going crazy, the economy starts doing this, solar starts doing this because it's a solution product, right? It's a solution to a problem. And exactly what you said, dealer fees go up, but then utilities go up, and then milk goes up, and then eggs go up. So, you know, people, but I can't do this, can't do this. The declines are a bit shitty, but there's cool and innovative financing that's coming into play now, which we probably should have had already. That's a bit more safer. That's not going to cause another 2008, 2009 crisis. So we're seeing some interesting solutions there for that anyway. But I think what we're going to be left with when everything is cleared, right, and we're assuming the U.S. doesn't just blow up, interest rates go down, but will utility rates go down? Have they ever? No. So everything's going to get lifted up. My milk's going to cost twice, right? My utility rate is skyrocketed, gone up 50%, 100%. California, what is it? SDG&E, just 80 cents or something, 40 to 80 cents. Wild. But the rates go back down. And we may, cross our fingers. Maybe we even might get some 30-year terms. NFIN came in with the 30-year term again and freaked everyone out with that. Like, there's going to be cool innovation stuff. So we'll have 30-year terms, decent interest rates, not free money like it was, we had in 2021, which you probably shouldn't have anyway. But utility rates are still sky high. So we're going to be left with a better situation than pre-inflation. And that's for those of us that can see far enough, which isn't that far, give it a year and a half, 2 years. It's like peaches and rainbows. So the way I see it right now is you're training as a soldier in the battlegrounds for when the time to absolutely swipe. We're talking, 200, 300 grand in your first year. That's when this shit really starts kicking off, when you're able to do California savings in every single state in the US, right? That's when it's just like, holy fuck. No one even knows what real solar money is yet, I don't think, right? We're the golden age is ahead of us.
I like what you said there too, Josh. Michael O'Donnell says the solar army, right? Which at the end of the day, it's like, I don't care what company you're at. It's like everybody just needs to be in solar right now. And Michael O'Donnell says, it's like, we're not an army, like we're the army. We are the army going to war against the corrupt monopoly utility company helping homeowners get their rates locked in. And right, but yeah, we're the army, so we got to go to war every single day.
Hey,
Love it.
so you guys got a few more minutes? I want to do a couple of questions, but do a little segment if you guys have a few more minutes. You got time? Yeah. All right. So everybody watching, this is Will Ellermets, Snapper Academy, Johnny Graham with the Real Sales Dynamics. I just had a question because I saw Will talk about blitzing earlier, and I thought I haven't heard much about companies and teams blitzing anymore. Maybe I'm just not hearing about it. But your camera side, there you go. I saw you're still blitzing out there. Is there still the same way you were doing before? You going city to city, Will?
Yep. We are in 6 different markets right now. Texas, Florida, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. And so we've got guys out right now. We're calling it sprint to the finish. And so blitzes are good because it gets guys an opportunity to recruit and bring people out here. The mystique around the blitz is that we'll fly you out, we'll pay for your hotel, we'll pay for your flight. But I really think that you gotta if you want to get to the true solar money, you gotta be working full time. But the blitz is a great way to be able to recruit and to get guys amped up. But then our biggest advice for the full timers is make sure you're going full time.
And Johnny, are you utilizing blitzing at all, or do you do something different with it, or not use that at all?
Yeah, we do it sometimes, just for crews that are trying to do a quick increase on their sales, trying to just go out, work together as a crew, then absolutely. But we're mostly full-time in certain territories. That's what we focus on. About once a quarter, certain teams will go up there and we'll get a big Airbnb and take out a territory that we haven't been in yet. But then most importantly, we just did that with Bakersfield area. And then we're trying to grow from major city points because we've recognized that just population centers lead to a lot of different numbers of applications and job applications coming through. And so once we have core teams developed in those individual cities, we then send them on blitz territories out to farther reaching cities that don't get hit very often. Post a video in that city if it's got a certain demographic, at least 400,000 or 500,000 people is what we're usually after. And then if we can have one solid rep that's already out there and leave them behind, we did that. So I actually moved a rep and his family out to Visalia, which is a midpoint between Bakersfield and Fresno. And we went out, brought the team out there, did a blitz, and now we're hiring people into his market out there because he moved his family out there. So we're now able to expand. But it's population centers play a big role in this. If you're shooting a lot of videos in the middle of Wyoming, you're not going to get, saying, hey, apply at our company. It's there's hardly anybody that lives there. So you gotta basically recruit out of your center cities and then go to secondary cities on the outside for your blitzes. Places in Texas that are hot zones. There's a lot of cities that fall in that range, like Odessa, for example, Lubbock. Those are areas that are out of reach, out of the major metropolises, but don't get hit very often, still have high utility costs. Those are good areas to take your people from the city and bring them out to those regions.
Don't tell the world about Lubbock, Johnny. Keep Lubbock under wraps.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, Lubbock, Johnny. I was just joking.
Sorry, guys. Lubbock sucks. Never mind.
Yeah, Lubbock ass. No, I was joking.
A lot of renters, all the students.
Terrible.
Yeah. Love
Go
it.
ahead, Josh. I'll let you have the last question.
I'm good. I've loved it so far. Should we get wrap up some trivia?
Let's do one more question, just because I want to pick these guys' mind. What can you give to what do you guys seeing coming up? You guys are on top of the trends. You see what's going on social media. You're on the front lines of the solar industry. What do you see coming in the next year? I know you talked a little bit about the interest rates and all that stuff, but what do you see? Anything besides what we talked about? Let's go, Johnny, baby.
What do I see happening next year? I see that 2024 is going to be really weird. We're going to have elections flying down. There's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of uncertainty floating around. And I see that there's very, very few real things on YouTube that you can go make money in right away doing. Drop shipping, who cares? That's not, serious money. If I could go to somebody right now, I could tell I have this magic thing where I can go to anybody that has certain characteristics for the most part, they can communicate at least halfway decent, and I can show them how to make a phenomenal living. What are the most searched things that people want? They want health, they want wealth, they want all those things. And when times are tough, those that provide the solution to that pain are going to be able to reap the rewards. Those that can actually like not just post BS like garbage. Like this is how we do it. I gotta honestly say, everybody that's watching this, if you haven't spent any serious time or thought about what you're going to deliver to your community, please don't get on social media. Like go sell more accounts, go learn first,
Yes.
go learn before you try to teach like a little bit. Please be humble. Don't crowd the market with a bunch of things that would turn away otherwise really good talent. There's a lot of great talent out there that if they have a bad experience with the solar company, they don't come back in, and that really sucks. Same thing goes for social media. If they see somebody who's a hack that's never sold, going out there and telling people on a whiteboard what to do in theory, but never done it himself, not showing you in field, watch out for that. You know what I mean? Like look for people that have the pedigrees and resumes. And if you have a resume and you've actually killed it, dude, post videos. Will, you sell a lot of accounts. You know what you're talking about, right? Like don't post things if you don't. That's one of the most annoying things in the world is people that are posting that don't know what they're talking about because they're giving bad advice. And I've had reps come to me, they're like, hey, Johnny, I heard of this thing. What if I tried this? It's just like, you should go try it, man. Like, go try it. It's not gonna work, but go try it. And then he goes and tries it, and then it sucks. And so just please like learn and then come and give something of value to people. Make it funny, make it cool, show them it's relatable, get your teeth kicked in. Don't be afraid to show people you getting shoot off the doors. Like when people show, like when I see people posting every one of their successes, but none of the losses, it's not an honest assessment. And that's what we tell everybody that's coming to do this job. Like, look, this is really hard. You know, like this is a really tough job. You better have a serious why as to why you're doing this. And right now, moving into 2024, a lot of people are going to be in a lot of pain and a lot of uncertainty. And if you can provide them a way to win when everybody else is on the ground, you're going to be very valuable to the economy.
Hell yeah. What do you think, Will?
So there's this event. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called SolarCon. And this year at SolarCon, we've got Gary Vaynerchuk that is going to be speaking. He is the best keynote speaker in the entire world. And so what we're going to be seeing after SolarCon is more companies are going to be utilizing social media at a very high level, more than ever before. And we're here for it, and we're very excited to see what happens.
That's a great point because Gary is known for telling people to use social media more. After Solar, Solar's, a lot of people are going to be jumping on social media. Hence why Johnny just told people to not post bullshit. So if you are going to post something, make it valuable. I like it.
Beautiful.
And Joe, shout out to you for getting. I know you're the one that got him there, Joe. So major shout out to you, bro. And I'm so excited for it, man. It's going to be the biggest event of the year, man. I cannot wait.
I'm very
excited.
Hell
yeah. Appreciate that. I'm excited as more than anyone, baby.
Yep. And I know that he inspired you too, Joe, to start doing content like when COVID hit and all that. And for me, he's been one of my biggest influencers. He's been my partner Beeler's biggest influencer, and just in regards to
he worked in his dad's liquor store. He hustled in his dad's liquor store.
Yeah,
you watch his interviews, he'll be like, dude, I hustled. My dad didn't want to hear shit from me. You know, he's like, I had to hustle. Then when I told him I'll sell those 30 cases of wine and I did it, that's when I started posting. So just go out there, have a 1-3 day, get 1-3 day and record it, talk about it, blow it up on your social media, but go out there and show them something that you have done. Like be awesome that way. Be credible by having the experience. If you're out there doing it, you'll have ideas for videos endlessly.
So, and a good quote to have there too with Johnny, and like Johnny's done it, and you know we've done it. Joe, you've done it. Josh, you've done it. And the quote is, "It's the consistency that gives us the ability to be exceptional." And so, if you really want to be exceptional, you got to be consistent. And Gary's done that. Gary did thousands of Wine Library and the Gary V and the Daily V, and it's you just got to be consistent. So
he's a legend.
So I definitely agree. Gary V has been a huge inspiration in my social media presence, but you guys too. I mean, like I'm watching what you guys are doing and how young you guys are and the content you're doing and how making it fun, and people are just engaged and they're putting comments, and like you guys are inspiring also. So I appreciate you guys, and Josh King too, man. You can make some great content yourself, man.
We're not that young anymore though, bro. My birthday's tomorrow. I'm gonna be 29, so we're getting up there though.
Happy birthday! Let's go, Billy Gaines, baby. The red snapper. All right, guys. So we're gonna end it with a little segment. We're doing a new segment for this one. It's called "Know Your Following." So hands up, no cell phones, no iPads. This is gonna be based on what your social media is. All right. So Josh King, take it away, my friend.
All right. So the first one is we want to know. I think actually Johnny actually mentioned his already.
So let's go over the how many questions and how they're going to win first.
Okay, so we have 5 questions, one being a bonus. The idea here is that you're going to have to give us an answer to each question. We're going to go back and forth. So Johnny, then Will, then Johnny, then Will. And the one with the most points at the end of it wins. It's all going to be based off of your social media. So we're going to see how well you know your own social media channels. Okay.
We will have a winner
like it.
at the end of this.
So
We compete at the highest level. Let's go.
Let's go.
okay, let's try to be as precise as possible. On Snapper Academy, what is on YouTube? What is the current subscriber count, follower count?
The current subscriber count is 8,500.
Okay, I'll go Johnny next, and I'll tell you who got closest. So Johnny, on Real Sales Dynamics, current YouTube subscriber count. No looking. Look straight
Hands
at the
up.
camera. Hands up.
I'm like 20, I think like 23 and a half, almost 22 to 23 and a half, somewhere in that range.
Was that your
No.
final answer?
Give me
It's 20. Last I checked, I thought it was 22,500 last I checked. Or maybe it was 23. It's one of those two.
No, I need one answer here.
You got it.
23,000. I'll shoot.
22. What was your answer, Will?
8,500.
85, but I think closer to 82, but I said 85.
Will is actually closer. So Snapper is at 79 and Real Sales is at 23.8. Will's
Oh,
closer.
nice. Yeah.
There we go. All right.
On the
Will
title, Johnny.
won.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
1-0.
Instagram. Same question. Johnny first.
10, like over 10,000, 10,002 something, 10,002 something.
Joe, are you sure you have the right Instagram account?
Oh wait, which one are you asking? That's for my personal?
No.
the Real Sales Dynamics.
Real Sales Dynamics or Pacific United Power. So we got a few.
Real Sales Dynamics. That's the one we found.
Oh, I don't know. I think it was like 3,000. I don't manage that account, so I think it's like 3,000.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know if you got the right account here, Joe, but seems a bit off.
It could be the wrong
The
one.
number that we have. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
on our end.
let's go Snapper. If Will can get us on the dot, then we'll give him the point.
I don't think I'm going to get on the dot, Josh, but I believe it's about the same, like 8,500. I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty close.
That's
It's
pretty much
8404 on Instagram. I don't think we have the right account. Somehow we have an account on Instagram. It's only 452 followers for Johnny. So I don't know if that's.
He
Should
said
we
he
call that a
doesn't run it.
mulligan?
No, we post all of our videos to our own personal Instagram, so we kept YouTube as the feed. So Real
Makes
Sales
sense.
Dynamics, we have like 4 or 5 hundred. I don't know if we've been just recently chopping up shorts for it.
We'll call that a mulligan because I don't know if we got the right account there. 452 followers is all right. All right. Well, we have enough
He
questions.
just said it was the right account. He literally just confirmed it.
Yeah, I did. I just confirmed. We have a Pacific United Power account.
All right. We'll call it then. Will with the point, 2-0.
Here we go. You got to come
Okay.
back here, Johnny.
We got opportunity. TikTok, same question. Let's go. Will first. Snapper.
Snapper Academy.
I have no clue. I have no
Pick a
clue.
number.
Is it like 900? I don't know.
That's a
Say
number.
900.
900. Johnny, what do you got?
No idea. Maybe it's don't use it like barely.
Hey.
1,000.
I'm going to say 900.
At most.
Man, really? Oh, am I the only one that tracks my subscriber count on social media? Okay.
I look at it every day, Josh, but we're on a blitz right now. I'm just joking.
Fair enough. I think Will's taking that again. So Will's Snapper's at 1680, Sales Dynamics at 3K. So Johnny,
not only that, on TikTok, Johnny, there's one that sells like 300,000 views, like insane. And then Will, I think you have like 100,000 views on one. Like, even though you're saying you don't know,
It's
like you guys are
casino.
fucking.
It's a casino.
You guys are getting some fucking
Okay.
monster viral videos though, killing it.
So here's where the comeback can happen. We're currently
All right, here we
3-0.
go.
This
Double points.
this last questions it's a one question and then there's a bonus question on the end of it for double points. Okay. So the question is, on YouTube, the title of your highest watched, most viewed video, and double points if you know how many the views are. Let's go, Will, first.
Knocking Doors with Ian Atkinson, 50,000 views.
Oh,
Exact.
He got every point possible.
I think you did. Johnny?
I don't remember the name of the title of it, but it was in Colorado. It was our earliest one. It was like 250,000 views, I think. We got just over 200,000, 250, or it was like something like that. Yeah. But then I can tell you the next one after that, it was how much money can you make in solar? And the next one after that was 5 steps of the sales process. I can tell you the top 3. And I think that last one had 38,000. The other one above that had like, I don't remember. One Carlos had a ton.
I think Will's taking it on the dot.
On the dot. He got
I think
every
Will's like
point.
me. He's watching the highest video like every single day. Oh, how much views does it have now? How much views does it have now? Oh, let me change the description so I can get more views on it. Change the thumbnail.
You got to take care
There we
of
go.
that.
Here's the winner. Thank you, Will.
Billy Gaines.
Know your
Red
following.
Snapper. So,
My mom after this, let her know.
speaking of that, since you're the winner, Billy Gaines, Will Ellermets, Snapper Academy, hey, let everybody know, man. Like, if they want to reach out to you, they want to connect with you, they want to see what you're doing, they want to be on one of your blitzes, they want to, hang out with you. Like, what's the best way to get in touch with you, bro?
Yeah, Snapper Academy, Will Ellermets. Guys, we've got a lot of really exciting content coming soon. Some like groundbreaking, like different ways of doing content with some really, really exciting things that we're launching for the training platform. So really excited for that. You guys are going to see some brand new content that the industry has never seen before. It's going to absolutely change the world. Like, it's going to be crazy. So definitely check it out on Snapper Academy and on all the different platforms. So
I can say one thing: when Will says something, you better believe it's going to happen. He's done it over and over again in his early career here.
Let me tell you too, Joe, that means the world to me. My best friends from like high school and middle school, that's what they all say too. They're like, dude, like Will's consistent, and like whenever he says he's going to do something, he does it. And so, like I don't know. I think it's good to sometimes like just do it without telling people that you're going to do it, because it's like then you're not putting that out there for people to like talk crap or whatever. But also, what I've learned is that I want to get crazier with the things I say, and I want to be making sure that I'm even more consistent, that I actually do it. And so, yeah, that's some epiphanies that I've had recently as I've been thinking about the, like, I do say some outlandish things like create a sales force on planet Earth and we're going to create 100 millionaires, but it's like, dude, let's freaking do it. Let's put it out there, and then let's make it happen, because the people that say they're going to do it versus the people that don't, it's far few in between. But dude, just if you show up every single day and you're consistent, like it's going to happen, So, and huge shout out to Johnny. Like, you're getting more views than us, bro. You've been doing it longer than us. We look up to you too, bro. So appreciate working with you in the industry, man. And I'm very serious when I say, like, we want to partner up with you on future businesses in the future, man. And we freaking love you guys.
I love what you guys are doing. All my people watch your guys' stuff too. It's great. It's
all our guys watch your stuff, bro. So couldn't do it without you, bro.
Love you guys, seriously. And thank you too, Joe, for always putting these things together, man. I love your work. And Josh, awesome getting to actually see you and listen to this. I've listened to your stuff before, so this is great. I just let's keep killing it, guys. It's gonna be such an exciting year. I'm really excited. I think we have some of the best talent ever, and I'm really excited for SolarCon. Thank you again so much for bringing a tribe and a culture to an industry that really needs it. It needs cooperation as much as it needs competition.
And before we go, Johnny,
we'll be putting the links in the description.
Real quick, before we leave, Johnny, if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get out to you?
The Johnny Graham, JohnnyGraham. It's a lot of silent H's in there, but you can do that on Instagram. Or we actually monitor the crap out of our comments on YouTube. So if you want us to reach out to you and you haven't put an application in or something like that, but you just want to reach out to us, just put it in the comments. We watch them. I look them all the time. I'm always interacting with people there. I love being able to hear different people's opinions on what we're doing. And so please, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We put our contact info all over.
Love it. And check out the Solicitor Sells No Soliciting Signs.
Yes.
They're on Real Sales Dynamic. Their third video. I'm watching this straight after. I love it. It's genius.
All right. Well, hey, put a like in there, put a little comment. All right. Help our algorithm out. All right.
Good stuff.
It's fun.
Make it happen.
Awesome.
Awesome. Good to have you guys. Good to meet you.
Yeah.
See you guys at SolarCon.
Appreciate you guys.
Cheers.
Peace.
Have a good one, guys.